Chapter 8 of A Story of One Short Life, 1783 to 1818, by Elisabeth G. Stryker. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 8. The American Bible Society, the United Foreign Missionary Society. During these 2 missionary journeys the heart of our apostle was swelling with the woes of the sin-bound, and his brain contriving for their release. Upon his return he settled in New York State, and spent 2 busy years in working out his purposes. While waiting for their maturity, he was most of the time in the large cities, particularly New York. Here he spent what might have been leisure in visiting the poor in the neglected districts. He also wrote many letters, and in the churches, and everywhere, and upon everybody, urged attention to the world's great needs, and their great duties. As the result of this planning, waiting, and working, he was permitted to see formed the American Bible Society and the United Foreign Missionary Society. On the subject of city evangelization, he advanced ideas which we at this striving time might well study. The entire destitution of religious privileges which Mills had witnessed in the West and South, and the great desire of the people for the Word of God, with their inability to supply themselves, made him eager for the formation of a National Bible Society, which should be large enough and strong enough to supply such great want. He had some hope of having the matter brought out at the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church, but it was thought best to have it come about through the existing Bible Societies, rather than have it bear the features of any denomination. The matter was kept constantly before influential people by this indefatigable man, and at last, on the 8th of May, 1816, delegates from the different Bible Societies of the United States convened in New York City and resolved unanimously to establish without delay a general Bible institution for the circulation of the Holy Scriptures without note or comment. Before closing their sessions, a constitution was adopted, managers elected, and an address issued to the people of the United States, informing them of the project, and inviting their sympathy and cooperation in this benevolent scheme. This was a great day to Mills, and those who saw him sitting apart, watching with intense eagerness the deliberations of the convention, long remembered his delighted face. But how must the resources and usefulness of this society have exceeded even his fond hopes! As its first depository, it shared the office room of its agent. From time to time it was forced to move to larger quarters, until the year 1853, when it located permanently in its well-known building, the Bible House on Astor Place, New York City. This edifice is of brick, 6 stories high, and occupies a solid block. In its first year the Society received $37,779 and issued 6,410 volumes. In its 70th year, 1886, its receipts were $523,910, and it issued 1,437,440 volumes. In the Bible House, the working force, manufacturing and executive, numbers about 250. The auxiliaries, which directly and indirectly center in this society, number about 7,000. From this great tree and its many branches, the leaves have been sent for the healing of nations. There are now but few countries where there are any impediments to the free circulation of the Scriptures. In our own land the Society has afforded relief to its feeble auxiliaries, has supplied destitute Sabbath schools, has endeavored to place Bibles in the common schools, to distribute it among soldiers and seamen, to furnish hotels, steamboats, railroads, and humane and criminal institutions. By it the Bible has been circulated among immigrants, the destitute poor, the freedmen, the Chinese, and, in the Douay version, among Romanists. At 4 different periods the Society has made exploration among the States and Territories, to search and supply the destitute. Proportionately, the number of families without the Word of God is much smaller now than when the Society was organized, notwithstanding the enormous growths in population. The Society has attempted to send the Bible to all inhabitants of the earth, accessible to its agents. It has established depots in almost every place where the American churches have missions. It circulates the Scriptures in more than 80 different languages and dialects. In 1856, in compliance with a special request and by means of a special gift, the Society's Imperial Quarto English Bible, bound with extraordinary care, enclosed in a rosewood case, and accompanied by a courteous letter, was sent to each of the reigning monarchs and other chief magistrates of the world. Before the art of printing, the Bible was the most expensive book in the world. So late as the American Revolution, in its cheapest edition, a volume could not be purchased for less than $2. This Society now furnishes a copy of the entire book for 25 cents. It has made the Bible the cheapest book in the world. Mills, anxious to see every wheel set in motion for the advancement of Christ's kingdom, was restless because of the inaction of the Presbyterian Church in the cause of foreign missions. Again, by his personal influence upon prominent men, another plan was matured. A committee was appointed by the General Assembly to confer with committees from the Dutch and Scotch churches, and a new society was formed called the United Foreign Missionary Society. After a few years of efficient service, this society was merged with the American Board, yielding to its name and affairs. While so busy with these schemes just referred to, Mr. Mills was collecting all possible information in regard to South America. He desired to have the way opened for a mission in that country, and was willing to go himself to make the needed investigations. But it was several years later when the American Board sent the first men to that field. In spite of these great enterprises, which must have been so absorbing of time and energy, this busy man found opportunity and strength to search out the squalid back streets of New York, and to go from house to house of its wretched inhabitants, giving sympathy, speaking words of Christian love and instruction, and where they would receive them, leaving the Word of God and good books. End of chapter 8.